Hello and welcome to Access Asia here on France 24. I'm Will Hildebrandt. Coming up, concern in Cambodia ahead of general elections. International observers worry the vote will be neither free nor fair after longtime leader Hun Sen's crackdown on the opposition. CCTV cameras are increasingly common in India's school amid concerns of cheating and violence. Authorities say they're protecting students. Critics say they're building a surveillance state. And they're called Hong Kong's coffin homes. Some apartments so small, there's no room for a sofa or even a toilet. Advocates say the city's housing crisis is so acute now that it violates fundamental human rights. And we begin in Cambodia, where the country is holding general elections at the end of the month. Leader Hun Sen has been in power for 33 years. During that time, Human Rights Watch says that hundreds of opposition figures, journalists, and others have been killed in politically motivated attacks. For that reason, speaking out is rare, and few are expecting the vote will lead to any significant changes. Clovis Casali reports.
A special day for Phnom Penh's new zoo, with thousands of visitors here not for the animals, but to see Hun Sen. With the general elections coming up, he uses this inauguration ceremony to repeat that only his party is educated enough to govern.
They want change, but we've brought it. Look at the changes since the time of the Pol Pot regime that killed so many people every day. We survived it. We went from having nothing, from walking barefoot to wearing nice shoes.
Across the country on main roads and small streets, his picture is everywhere. The Prime Minister presents himself as the man who can guarantee stability and peace. His 33 years in power have been marked by economic development, as well as limited freedom of expression. In this working-class area of the capital, some are trying to get their voices heard. They are not necessarily opposed to Hun Sen, but they want to be able to defend their rights without fear of reprisals.
This association helps us to deal with difficulties such as facing oppression and problems with local authorities. It teaches us to be united so that we can manage for ourselves to solve these problems.
During Hun Sen's reign, hundreds of union members, opposition figures, and journalists have been murdered. But Palin believes freedom of expression is worth fighting for.
If the worker talk or share to the journalists, especially foreigner, they got a question or they got notification or they are followed by the local authorities.
Why? Why the local authorities like that?
Actually, they don't want us to share about the situation inside Cambodia because the government tried to shut down the independent media like Radio Free Asia and Cambodia Daily.
Palin provides support to vulnerable workers, like street cleaners, who earn around $120 a month. When she meets them, police are never far and ask what they talk about.
Sometimes they said about very sad, tomorrow we don't have money to support our kids to go to the school, something like that. So just we can share about the feeling.
It's illegal in Cambodia to call for a boycott of these elections, described by some as a sham. Judges ordered for the CNRP, the main opposition party, to be dissolved. Its leaders are in jail or live in exile.
Well, there's concern that India is becoming a surveillance society. Earlier this year, one college was criticized when it installed CCTV in toilets to cut back on cheating during exams. And other schools are installing more cameras after a recent spate of violent incidents. The authorities argue that it's for the security of the children, but critics say the government is going too far. Ellen Gainsford takes a closer look.
This may look like a normal classroom, but there's one important difference. As well as tables, chairs, and a blackboard, there are security cameras watching every move.
These two cameras are there. One from this side and one this side. Wow. Students are behaving in well manner or not. Teachers are in class in time or not.
The surveillance systems were introduced after several high-profile murders. Last October, a boy was killed in the toilets of his school. The authorities say they're necessary to ensure children in Delhi are kept safe. But critics say the scheme is more government snooping. This school has 64 cameras spread throughout the corridors and classrooms. All the footage is fed back to the control room, where the headmaster watches over the screens. The surveillance is having an effect on the pupils.
Because of the cameras, the rules are more strict now. We can't have fun.
We're scared we'll be kicked out of school.
None of the teachers at the school were willing to criticize the system on camera. However, the secretary of a local teachers' union was happy to speak out.
We understand how to work with the pupils, when it's important for everyone to relax and when to teach. But with the cameras, we don't know how this will be perceived. So everything is becoming very fake.
Despite criticism, the government is determined to continue with the project. In the coming months, all public schools in the capital will be equipped with cameras.
A recent survey found that 53% of Hong Kong women between the ages of 20 and 40 years old do not want to have children. The reason? The city's housing crisis. A shortage of apartments has seen prices skyrocket. Consider the average situation, prices of 20,000 euros per square meter, and mortgage payments that account for 70% of income. Claire Rush takes a closer look at how people there are adapting.
A 27 square meter studio for 650,000 euros. That's the price Adrian Law paid to buy his Hong Kong flat 2 years ago.
Here's the bedroom area. You've got a transformable bed and the working table.
The entire apartment is designed to save space, a precious commodity in Hong Kong, which has the 4th highest population density in the world. Adrian has learned to adapt.
The most important thing is to keep as less thing as possible to make it more spacious.
Despite the small space, Adrian says he's one of the lucky ones. His parents helped him buy his flat. But other Hong Kong youth have had to turn to flat shares. Jez Ng lives in Bibliothèque, a large building that's been converted into a shared living space for more than 150 people. Her room has enough space for a bed and a desk, for just over 600 euros a month. Jez's teacher's salary, roughly 3,500 euros a month, is not enough to buy an apartment in Hong Kong, which has been the world's most expensive property market for the past 7 years, according to the annual Demographia International Housing Affordability Survey.
Even with a stable job, it's very difficult to buy an apartment, as prices are always rising.
But some people have found creative ways to get around the large price tags. Investor Nguyen Lao has made a name for himself by speculating on hongza, or haunted flats in Cantonese. In Hong Kong, flats where people have died sell for less than market value.
The discount is very big. It varies from 20 to 50%, depending on what circumstances. For example, for those with people jumping to their death, the discount is about 20%. For those involving murder cases, the discount might reach up to 50%.
The trend of buying these flats is growing here in Hong Kong, where analysts estimate that only 20% of the population can afford to buy an apartment. As prices continue to rise, even long-held beliefs like haunted flats are swept aside.
Well, on the rise in Indonesia are zombies, or rather impersonators. Many people in the capital, Jakarta, are now getting used to seeing them on the streets. Hit TV shows like The Walking Dead have fueled popularity, leading to organized events, creating job opportunities, and even inspiring community groups. Scaring people, they say, is fun and good for self-esteem. Emerald Maxwell has more.
Stalking the streets of Jakarta, Zombie sightings are becoming increasingly common in Indonesia, with young people dying to become a member of the community.
I really enjoy surprising people like this, and I have got quite a few jobs doing it. Also like to be able to scare people.
To become a member of Kompi Zombie, applicants have to prove themselves by passing a test on undead culture. They can then get paid to participate in commercial events. The group also promotes special effects makeup artists.
It's not just about splattering blood or dirtying someone's face. As a special effects makeup artist, I have to pay close attention to details, create textures, and apply logic to my work.
Indonesia's creative industry is expanding massively, with 10% annual growth between 2010 and 2015. This pop culture expert approves of the zombie community, but stresses it should incorporate Indonesian cultural influences too.
The devil, with its local names, Genderuhu or Kuntilana, is used in this case not only to entertain people, but also for a creative process. So I think we should support the zombie communities, because they are part of the local industry.
Coming full circle, the zombies have been approached by Fox TV network to promote The Walking Dead, the very series that inspired their community.
Well, Japan is renowned for its Michelin-starred restaurants, and now its meals are on wheels, so to speak. 9 taxi companies recently launched a nationwide organization specializing in tourism, decorating cabs with regional delicacies. Now you can hail a sushi, or for that matter, ride in a ramen if you rather. Taxis trying to attract tourists as demand among dwindling rural populations falls. Some drivers even being paid to be tour guides or take clients to restaurants. Wagyu? Why not? Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. More news coming up. Stay tuned to France 24.
Middle East Matters, presented by Sanam Chantier.
Keep up to date on the latest from the Middle East. We bring you political, economic, and cultural events from the region in this weekly Middle Eastern program.
Middle East Matters on France 24 and France24.com.